Okay, so now that you've seen some of the basic components of the ATV and the UTV plow systems, we're going to go ahead and install the mount onto the machine and then put the plow on and do some plowing. So let's take a look. We got the plow mounted, or we got the bracket on now. We got it set in there. Now we just gotta make sure it's straight. Okay, so as you can see, we got the basic mount loosely mounted down here. We just take the U-bolts and just tighten them up gradually. I'll make sure that they're evenly tightened, not overly tightened. This is a lot easier on a hoist. I don't have one of those, so you can do it on the ground just fine. All right, so we got the mount on now. As you can see, this doesn't have a lot of ground clearance in this system, so if you ride this thing without the plow mounted, it should just be to go up and down trailers and that sort of stuff. If you're going to be doing trail riding and you know, everything from trail riding and ice riding and all that stuff, you want to take this mount off if you're going to do any serious amount of riding. You just put the push tubes into the mount like that and secure them, and then we go ahead and secure it to our winch. The winch we're using is the winch we prefer here is the KFI winch, and it's a very, very nice unit, and they're half the cost of a Warren winch, and they're KFI is located right here in the United States in the Minneapolis area. Okay, so like we were saying in the part one of this video, you can actually use two different types of mounting hardware, and one would be the quick disconnect style, and then we're going to use the bolts system just because we lost all our pins, number one, and I can't get any more around here. So word to the wise, always get another set of hardware. Gear Up To Go does have hardware available, and then we just you know, simply slide this in underneath the mount plate. All right. All right, so we just tighten these up. All right, now that we have our push tube mounted underneath the chassis of the machine, we're going to take the winch, bring it out, and hook it up. Another reason we like the KFI winch is it comes, almost every one of them comes with a wired remote. And a remote system, all it does is you mount a, this is an XLR type connection. Comes with all the mounting hardware. You just plug it in. And I mounted it there, but you can mount it wherever. And then this way you don't have to fuss with your system. You can have complete control over your winch while you're going in and out. So we're going to bring it out. Hook it up. On the plow mounting hardware, we have our tension springs. Now these springs are in place so that if it hits something very, very hard on the bottom, it flexes. The flex in the blade prevents anything from breaking on the plow, and it may prevent whatever you're hitting from breaking as well. But you want to make sure these are of about the same tightness. Now you can see one is real loose and one is tight. So this is taking up most of the slack, and this one wouldn't be doing much. So we're going to tighten this up before we use it for plowing. once we're done with that, then we can get out there and start plowing. We got about a foot of snow out there, so we're gonna go out and get her plowed out. Now for a plowing tip, we're gonna start with the blade straight. As we have a lot of obstacles around us, we just want to get the plow to get as much of the snow out of the way as possible. Another thing, this is a 48-inch blade, and a lot of folks think that you can't put that on a UTV. Well, you can. It's not as clean, as you can see, but it still does a fair enough job. The smaller the blade, the less expensive it is. Again, we're using the country style blade, and the country blade is designed for doing long swifts, usually with the blade over to one side. Now for what we're doing here, we're doing push style. The best blade for just pushing it straight across like this is a V plow inverted, a backward V, or even the straight blade would work better than the country blade. Again, your country blades are more for your long driveways where you can push the snow to one side and just keep moving. The V-plow also does this, but it can't do as much actual plowing as the country plow blade can. You can see the rubber flap working its job as well, holding a little bit more snow from going over the top, allowing the light snow material from flying over the blade. Most plows do come in yellow or in black. Some people prefer the black blade so that if it's outside and it's all iced up and the sun is hitting it, you can get the ice particles off a little bit faster from the heat generated from the sun. Now we're doing about a foot of snow, a little bit more than a foot of snow next to the building where it's drifted, about 6 to 8 inches in the lower part. And you can see with just the small Rhino, this is the 450 model Rhino, it's pushing the snow around pretty easily. Now again, you're going to have more difficulty with a larger blade. So if you have a 72-inch blade, you're pushing that much more material, and the ATV or the UTV with such a big blade on it can have a lot of trouble with such heavy loads. We prefer the smaller blades for those types of reasons.
So tell me, the shield why'd you put the shield on when you're plowing?
Just to keep the snow from getting in your eyes and face and affecting your concentration. Snow like this is really heavy, so you got to do it in chunks. But the equipment seems to work well. You just take it a little at a time. And that's about it.
That shield seems to be keeping quite a bit of the wind off of your face.
It does. In years past, without the shield, it's like I say, it's so hard to stay concentrating because it gets in your eyes and everything else. So really happy with that, as well as the full enclosure. So.